The truth has to be said. You need to look at yourself properly. Because if you don't look at yourself properly, there's no how you will ruin yourself. And you will wreck yourself. You cannot be committing sin and expect God's blessings to be upon your life. It's not possible. You know you are doing a lot of evil. There are some of you, every small girl in your office, you have had your way. So in the end, is what are you gaining? You have had your way sexually with them. Every small girl, plus intent and all of that. It's evil now. Like destroying that girl's future. They're saying it's just sex. It's not just sex. Like destroying the girl's future. You're making her have an affinity towards you and you know you're not going to support her. You're not going to do anything to make her life better. So why destroy her life? And some of you live that life. You live it wholeheartedly. Because you can get your way. You can get your way today does not mean it's the end of the world. That child too will grow someday. There are some women, as we speak today, that their lives have been destroyed by men, so-called big men. And that big man now is looking for the favor of God. You see, you can't be doing evil and expect the favor of God to abound in your life. Don't deceive people. You do a lot of evil. You are stealing money. You are stealing money and you are saying favor of God should abound. You are giving God blood money now. It's blood money you are giving God. And you're happy with yourself. There's nothing to be happy about. You think you are smart. You're not smart. You're stealing money. Some of you, easily, you have killed people. You have blood on your hands. A lot of you might be watching, you have blood on your hands. You've known about the killing of somebody through you. You know, somebody has been lost. Life has been lost. You need to have a real repentance. What was it? Tell you should go and waste somebody because of your own selfish political interest? Is that life? Some of you assassinate the character of people. You destroy them. Because things are not going your way. You want it always to be your way. These things are not good. You use media, blackmail, spin. You don't tell the truth. You commit all sorts of vile action. People cannot trust you. A very wicked person to a lot of people. You're doing these things and you're happy with yourself. No. You see, you fail to realize that at some point, God will ask you. He will ask you. And he'll ask you questions. And he'll tell you things like, no, this is not good, my son. You shouldn't have done this. And that's why you need to change. You need to change. There are some things you are doing that can never allow the goodwill and the grace of God be upon your life. Because God doesn't like it. He doesn't like evil. He doesn't like when you hurt the innocent. Some of you, you think you have power. You go and throw people in prison. You do all sorts. He doesn't like when the little ones are being oppressed. And he will fight for them. Look at Bashar al-Assad. He thought he had the world in his hands. If they had told Bashar al-Assad that it was just a small terrorist group called HTS that would bring the end of his dynasty, nobody will have believed. Because normally with groups like that, he will have Russian backing. But for the first time, Russia is fighting his own war. Then you also have Hezbollah fighting their own war with Israel. So that's just it. You need to be able to do good. The grace of God, it's not possible. It's not possible. And I pray for you, but you are becoming for a breakthrough level on that person. These are things that will cause delay in your own life. Set people free. Let people. You need to be that person that reaches out to the hurts. What you should have is a good heart towards everyone. What you should have is a good heart towards everybody. That's what you should have in good conscience. A good heart towards everybody. Not everybody will have the kind of brain you have. Not everybody will have the capacity. Everybody will have the wherewithal you have. It's life, eh? Stages and bashes. Because people, they will not know like you. They will not be able to speak like you. They will not be able to think like you. For people able to have the capacity you have. That's where a good conscience comes in. A good heart. A good heart will prepare you not to commit the sins I'm been talking about. Because there's no how you have a good heart and you want to commit sin. And you want to hurt your fellow human being. There are some things that are not good. There are some things that are not good. There are some things that will never be good. You can never expect to use evil to destroy people and expect the grace of God to abide by you. But before you even consider the evil, it's because your heart is not clean. So the question is, how is your heart? Who are you? What do you think? Have you ever sat down in your life to plan evil towards somebody? Check yourself. There are some people, they will just sit down and say, you know what, let me just cause trouble. Let me just destroy people's life. It's not fair, it's not good. You don't need it. You don't need it. You don't need it at all. Honestly. Yeah, people will do you evil in this life. Set them free, let them go. The best you can do is let them go. You are not the one to fight for yourself. You didn't create yourself. You didn't create yourself. Stand your ground. Don't let people push you around. But once you've done your best, when they do evil to you, let them go. You're trying to pay evil. See, if you want to seek revenge, you have to dig 2 graves because you might get killed in the process. Why don't you just allow the God of recompense? Let the God of recompense pay you back. But all you have to do is just ensure that you are good. And you are very kind to people. Because come what may, you will always have people that will never be on your side in this life. You can't please the whole world. You can't please the whole world. You can't be the most everything in the world. Just do your best and let God lead. Let God lead. So please, these are the 3 things that can stop you. Because a lot of you have been saying, oh, Rufai, I've been praying for breakthrough, things have not come. There are some that God is just going to test you, yes. But there are also some that might be caused by you. So that's why I'm saying check your hearts. Because if you don't check your heart, you might ruin yourself. You might ruin your destiny. You might ruin everything about you. You might ruin everything about you. So please, look at these things. And look at them well. We open up the phone lines. And please don't forget, our target Christmas is still on. Our target Christmas is still on. Even if it's something little, even if it's a pen, give it to somebody this Christmas. The numbers to call us on 0818-099-1991. 0818-099-1991. Our target Christmas is still on. So please, let's try as much as possible to reach out to somebody. I can't afford to eat anything this Christmas period. A lot of you will be wasting food this Christmas period. There's no dirty December event you will not go to. Even me too, I went to one yesterday where I went to dance and all of that. Yeah. But also think of the poor while you're doing that. Think of the less privileged. Think of those that have less capacity. Think of those that don't even have at all. Because there will always be people amongst us like that. I don't have. There will always be people. There will always be people like that. So think of them. And that's why I say, this is our target Christmas. Reach out to them. Zero 818 099 1991. 0818 099 1991. Hello, how are you?
Hello, good morning, my brother.
My brother Manjem, how are you now?
I like this your face cap. Was my t-shirt, my own
jersey. Sorry, I just finished going to play sports tennis this morning.
Wow, you look so good, so cute, bros.
Bless you, my brother. How is our outreach in Abuja? You know, I've been publicizing the numbers and the account numbers. Have they been responding?
Yeah, to the glory of God. Do you know exactly last week when I spoke with you? Last week, it's not even up to 1 hour. Someone just sent 100K.
Very good.
Something in America, and on Monday morning, someone sent 2,000 naira.
Very good, very good. So we have 102,000 naira. So when are we going to buy the milk and everything for the children?
You know, the program will be coming up on the 21st of December.
So 4 days to Christmas at the prison, right?
Yes, absolutely, at prison.
Okay.
So I really appreciate that. And one of our brothers, anyway, I knew him through your platform, Mr. Johnson Damila. He said he'll be coming from the US.
Oh, that's good. That's good. So let's see what we can do for the people.
He said, but we like to, as soon as he comes around, maybe probably we'll visit the prison as well.
Very good. So that we all visit the prison. And maybe next year, so what you're going to do for us is next year you're going to plan in such a way that you're going to tell us like your itinerary for the year in Suleja prison and other health outreach you want to do in Abuja, so that as partners, as the Oseni said, that being a partner to Icon of Hope Foundation, your foundation, we'll be able to start telling our listeners and see how we can solicit, and VOP also being a partner, we'll see how we can solicit for help so that we can get all of this. We are also doing our own outreach on the 14th, next week Saturday, by the grace of God, are giving clothes, food, medicines, and everything to people that are indigent and poor in society, and also doing medical checks for them. So we can all partner and collaborate together. And let's see how God will help all of us.
You posted it on your platform. I saw it there.
Yes. So just send me the details.
Today, I'll be going to Kiyi village, because in that village where I was told that there was the killing of twins in that community.
What community is that? Are they still killing twins in Nigeria?
Kiyi village. Along inside very far.
Okay. So we need to go and do advocacy there for them to stop killing of twins.
So I have met one man that has an orphanage there, so we discussed about it. So by the grace of God, we are going to visit them as well. So for the sake of those children. So really, may God see us through.
Amen. Yes, thank you so much for all the great work, and let's partner more. But also, it's best so that maybe from like January next year, we'll know the plan so that we can draw out the plans, and we can see how we can strengthen people's lives, and because our life is just to help people. The reason why I'm giving another day on earth to breathe, is because of God's grace. So once you have that, and God's grace is given to you so that you'll be able to be a blessing to others. So let's just do it that way and keep helping people. Bless you so much, my brother. God bless you.
And again, is that concerning the nursing mother, because I got an information, because we don't know, when someone is on trial, I'm talking about the image, because one of the inmates, I won't disclose her with her identity, said probably they might sentence her on life imprisonment because she was tried with a couple of homicides. So she's trying to, so I said I'm going to inform her, say the Rufai Foundation, so that how we can see. So perhaps if she's sentenced, then we can, give the child
Okay, let's see how that goes so that we can see how we can, raise. So at least even if the mother is sentenced to life imprisonment, the child's future should not stop. So that let's see how we can raise money for the school fees and all of that for that. It is well, my brother. We'll keep partnering and doing all this great work. It is well. So also give us updates as regards all of that as it goes, and let God lead the way.
Amen. God be yours too.
Bless you.
Support as well.
Thank you.
Volunteers.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
All right. So we're still taking a lot of messages. Call us up on the phone lines. These are one of our partner foundations, Icon of Hope. That's how we reach out in FCT and all of that. So we have a great message coming up after this. It's called An African Renaissance. So please do want to join us. The number to call us up is 0818-099-1991. Don't forget our challenge for Christmas is still on. Give something, even little, to somebody this Christmas period. Hello, how are you? Bless you so much. What's the name? Where are you calling from?
My name is Chris. I'm calling from
Chris from Regreda. Speak louder so we can hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, I love your program.
Thank you.
I've been a good listener of this program right from.
Thank you so much.
I'm having a little problem now.
What was your challenge?
My challenge is I have a house problem. My landlord is on my neck.
Landlord is on your neck. Well, call out your number. Let's see if people can help you. Call out your number. It's Christmas period.
0081.
Yeah.
27.
Yeah.
67.
Yeah.
21.
Yeah.
61.
Is that it? Have you called it out?
61. 959.
Okay. No wahala. It is well. Thank you. Hello.
Hello.
Morning. What's your name? Turn off the volume of your radio set.
Hello. Good morning.
Turn off the volume of your radio set. Please, before you call us up, do want to turn off the volume of your radio set, please. Thank you. 0818-099-1991. 0818-099-1991. 0818-099-1991. Hello? Hello? Oh, we lost that. Zero 0818-099-1991. Hello? We're having a lot of drop calls. Somebody's saying, I've never been gifted all my life on Christmas, even my birthdays. Please, I need to be gifted. That's from King Kelly. Don't worry. If that's the case, God will gift you something great. And people that are on this platform will also gift you something. 0818-099-1991. Hello, how are you? Hello?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Good morning.
Morning, what's your name? Where are you calling from? Speak up louder.
Yeah, my name is Onyebuchi.
Great job, Onyebuchi.
Yeah, father from Agege.
Talk to us, Onyebuchi.
Yeah. Are you hearing me?
Yes.
Okay. I have some challenges. So I'm 53 years old.
Yeah.
Suffer from diabetes. And I need some help from people.
Okay, diabetes, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Don't worry. We'll see if we have doctors, that can take you up on that. So
Okay.
we'll just reach out to doctors. Please, if you want to reach out to Onyebuchi, just let us know. Hello, how are you? Bless you.
No.
Yeah.
I'm following your program.
Where are you calling from? Go ahead, talk to us.
I've been following your program since a month ago. So I need a favor. I need a people, like the major thing is that people don't want me to live my life in a normal way. I need to subscribe.
People don't want you to live your life. How? What do you mean by that?
In the sense that even though they trace me through glasses whenever I process of visa is not the visa is not in process. I don't have job at present, so I need a deliver. That is why I should not try and call.
Okay, so you need a job, right?
Yes.
Okay. What kind of things can you do?
I have an experience in store analysis, not.
Okay. No wahala as well. Noted, huh? If we see openings, people that have jobs and things like that, let us see how we can open up the economy for people that really need the help. We need to get that help in society. Hello, how are you? A lot of calls coming in at the same time, but we're also losing calls thick and fast, but it as well. Hello, how are you? Hello. Right. Hello.
Yeah, good morning, sir.
Morning, what's your name? Where are you calling from?
My name is Jeremiah and I'm calling from Lagos.
Lagos is a big city. Where are you calling from, Lagos, Jeremiah?
From Ikotun, sir.
Talk to me, my brother.
Alright, sir. Please, I need your help.
What's it about?
I graduated from school 2021 and I served last 2 years. Until now, I still don't have a job. But I have something in mind. I want to learn and hard work.
What hard work do you want to learn?
Yeah?
Turn off the volume of your radio set.
Okay. Are you hearing me now?
Yeah. What handwork do you want to learn?
Okay. Videography.
Videography.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so if we see anybody that wants to teach somebody videography, let us know, right? Thank you so much. We'll put that up there. So if we get anybody that wants to teach somebody videography. Hello, how are you?
Hello?
Yeah?
Yeah, good morning. My name is James.
Your name is what?
James.
Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Shaisha, Lagos.
Talk to me.
Please, I need your help because I'm a tailor. But for some time now, I have some challenges. Doctor say my nerves collapse. So I cannot walk again for some time now, since 2019. So I'm suffering some challenges.
So have you been seeing the doctor since 2019?
Sorry?
Have you been seeing the doctor?
I've been seeing doctor, but they say my nerves collapse.
And is there no remedy to the collapsing of the nerves? Is there no remedy? I did not give you any.
They've been treating it, but financially, I don't have money to carry it on. So that's the problem. They say there's some things that I will take, like all this Harvard medicine that I can take.
Okay, noted. If there's any doctor interested in your case, they will reach out to us. Noted your case. Hello, how are you?
Good morning.
Bless you.
This is Isaac from Alabama.
Isaac from Alabama, talk to me, my brother.
So I listened to someone who does outreach in Abuja and said he knows where youths are being killed. So
yeah.
I if you could get, if it's possible that it goes along, or when you guys go, you can go along with, twins, to give them more orientation and, maybe if they see grown-up twins and they see what they have become in the society, maybe that can, help them to change their orientation. So that's why I just wanted to add.
Bless you so much. That's a very good advice. Thank you so much for that.
Yeah.
Thank you. I really appreciate you. Hello, how are you?
Hello?
Turn up the volume of your radio set, please.
Okay. Good morning.
Morning, what's your name? Where are you calling from?
My name is Emanuela Obi. I'm calling from Yakonde.
Good to have you, Malola. Talk to us.
Okay. It's been since this year I've been having issue with my phone because the one I'm using right now is my sister own. And this year no one has actually gifted me something, and I'm hopeful that praying that someone will remember me for the phone.
No wahala. No wahala. You never know. Somebody will definitely remember you for good. Merry Christmas. It's going to be well. But somebody will remember you for good. Now that you said it in the air, you have no idea the impact it's going to be. It's going to be well. Bless you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Hello.
Hello, sir. Good morning, sir.
How are you? Merry Christmas. How's it going?
I'm blessed, sir.
Yeah, talk to me.
Thank you for your good work, sir.
Thank you.
Sir, I'm in Boston, sir.
It's awesome.
I'm on my 60s now, sir.
Okay.
Please, I have some challenges, sir. Hello, sir.
I'm with you. I'm listening to you.
Yes, sir. I lost my job last year due to a terrible accident. I had an accident. So I was working on that PW there. So, in fact, since that time till now, we are living by His grace. So I really need the help from you because in December, I don't know. I'm just believing God. But I just put my hope in God and God will see us through. Mostly I might. Then in fact, sometimes we bless what that we drink. Believing God for supernatural turnaround. I really need your help for this Christmas, sir. For my family, sir.
It is well. It is well.
Amen.
No wahala. It's noted. You never know what God can do. And that's why I'm saying let's have this Christmas help for a lot of people. Hello, how are you? Hello?
Hello?
Great to have you. What's your name?
My name is Don. Calling from Istanbul.
Great to talk to me, my brother.
Rufai,
Yes, sir.
I appreciate you for all your effort.
Thank you.
For all you've been trying to impact positively
Thank you.
in this country. I appreciate you and I pray that everybody will keep getting a good job.
Amen. Thank you.
I actually want to be part of some of this age. I want to support.
You want
I
to?
always be there to support. I want to support financially and what
Okay.
you're doing.
Okay.
I think I will need the account number to support. And I appreciate you. Please keep doing it.
Okay.
Thank you for a good job.
Thank you. I'm humbled. Thank you so much. I'm grateful. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. So we need to do as much as possible for people. So I would like to beg you guys for something. If you have small packs of rice, and you go and just put it, ask for VOP radio at Golden Tulip Hotel, and just tell them you are bringing these packs of rice for Rufai. If you have small packs of rice, then once I can confirm that the packs of rice are there, then I can tell people just to go there and pick up these packs of rice, at least so that they can have something to eat. First come, first serve. If I also had money, I would have wanted to put in like some money in envelope for people, but I know it's quite difficult for a lot of people at this time. So if you want to join me on that, fine. Packs of food for people. You can go donate it at VOP Radio. VOP is in Golden Tulip Hotel, Airport Road, Ikeja. I want to just get there, say, I'm here to donate packs of rice to VOP Radio for Rufai Oseni, for Rufai's outreach. So they'll point you out to VOP. They'll take the packs of food there. Then if I can confirm that it's there, then I can tell people just to go and pick it first come, first serve basis based on the call they have on the radio. I mean, if you can do that for 500 to 1,000 people, that'll be my joy. I'll be really so, excited about that, as regards that. Let's see if we can take more calls. Hello.
Hello.
Great to have you. What's your name?
Good morning, sir.
Morning. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
My name is Amici. I'm calling from Aja, Lekki.
Great to have you, Amici.
Dear customer, the customer you are calling is on another call.
Oh. Hello. Hello.
Hello, please.
Hello.
Good morning.
Morning,
Good
yeah.
morning.
Yeah.
Sorry for bothering you.
Hello. Hello.
Hello, sir. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Yeah.
Okay. I say I love your program so much. May God bless you.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Okay. Quick one, sir. I'm calling to say one or two things happening in the streets of Lagos. I don't know whether it's allowed to me to say it.
Yeah. Go ahead. Hello. Oh, what's happening? Please do want to call us back. Do want to call us back. 0818-099-1991. 0818-099-1991. Hello, how are you?
Hello.
Great to have you. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from
From where?
from
I can't hear you properly. So you speak up a little bit louder for me.
I'm coming from
Say that again.
I'm calling from Chengote.
Okay. Go ahead. What's your name?
My name is Bless.
Okay, Blessing. Yeah.
I think to have a good father. So I tried for my best. So I think help.
Okay, you need help. Hello, how are you?
Good morning, sir.
Morning. Yeah.
I'm calling from Morujuku.
Okay, as you were saying.
I just need a little help. For like 6 months now, I'm out of job. I'm a driver.
You're a driver. You need a driving job, right?
Yes.
Okay, noted. So like I said, so first phase, number two things we'll do. Number one, if you can donate packs of rice at VOP, and if they call me and said it's there already, I can tell you to go pick it up there, packs of rice there. Secondly, we now need to look for jobs for people. If you're interested in giving jobs to somebody, please hit me, send a text. So if you want to make donations to other people and all of that, on this number, send a text and say, oh, I'm listening to your program. I want to make a donation. I want to do this. I want to do that. I want to give a job to somebody. Just send a text to this number, 0818-099-1991. Send a text, all right? And we'll probably, give you how you can donate. And then we'll now see people we can reach out to and credit them while we're live on the air and see what we can do to make this Christmas really wonderful. See, the essence of Christmas is giving. It's just about reaching out to people and ensuring that their lives are a whole lot better. That's just it. So, hello, how are you? So the essence, so just send a text. If you want to make any donation or anything, just send a text. We'll reach out to you and see how we can help. Thank you so much. We're also doing this with most of our partner outreach centers and agencies, and like those like I Could Afford, we partner with them. And if you also have an NGO and you want us to partner with you, why not? And if not, the Senior Center is always ready to partner with as many people possible to be able to ensure that we give them things that will help their livelihoods and help them to be able to reach out to other people. So we don't believe we can do it alone. We believe in partnering with other people, And let's say Panza. Hello, how are you? Great to have you. Morning, yeah. Yeah, what's your name? Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Jacondo State. My name is Mr. Moko.
Great to have you, Mr. Woko.
Yes, please. I listen to your program.
Bless you.
I want to I need the help. But my problem is I'm a producer of some goods that I sell at the supermarket.
Okay.
And now, I have 3 children in the university getting training. But recently, the products that I use for the goods is very costly now. I cannot afford to buy it.
So you need business capital. That's what you need. You need business capital. Okay, noted, Mr. Woko. It is well, huh? I said noted, though. Noted. It is well. It is well. So Mr. Woko needs business capital. So that's why we can't do these things, or we can just do the very best we can. But thank you so much. I pray as you grow this week, God will bless you. You want to support us, you want to make donations and everything that we're going to be able to give to people, just send a text to 0818-0991-991. We'll play the next part of the program, which is going to be an inspiring talk about Africa and how we can, develop the continent in full. The number, once again, please write it down: 0818-0991. 0818-0991. So that's the number to be able to send a message if you want to donate, so that we can reach out to a lot of people. But please, the one I'm saying, the first one we can do is, you've got a pack of rice, or you have small packs of rice for people. Just go to VOP. VOP radio is in Golden Tulip Hotel. When you get there, just say you want to drop an outreach material for Mr. Rufai. They'll take it upstairs for you. Then once I confirm that the materials are there, then I'll tell people on the air to go pick it up. When you come, you call us up. We'll just say, go pick it up, go ask for this person. Then we'll write your names down and send the data over. Thank you guys so much. Really appreciate you. God bless you as you go this week. It is well with you. Safety is key this week, and I pray you'll be safe this period. In Jesus' name, amen. Bless you all.
If you want to be heard, say here on Voice of the People, 90.3 FM. People, 90.3
From the
FM.
views on the street,
We go to bed empty
from the
hunger.
views on the street,
We go to bed empty hunger.
to the loudest voices of the hustling city. Got a million loudest voices of the coming man. Got a
It's not a
million
bad thing to renovate the president.
through top-notch
It's not a bad
programming,
thing to renovate the
unbiased
president.
reportage of top-notch programming, sports, unbiased reportage of entertainment, sports, and cultural documentaries, entertainment of the people, and cultural documentaries. 3 FM Voice of the People, a symbol for 21st century media, became a symbol for 21st century media is born. And now, Voice of the People television is born. Voice of the People television. VOP TV, your excellence.
Voice of the People. Find your brand. Find your voice.
It's about that time for this conversation.
We want to know what the public has to say.
Your voice, my voice. Our voices must be heard.
Problem here, Martin,
As far as I'm concerned, it's not helping the society because
the way things are going now, everything has gone up.
For current news and daily updates, trends and vibes, vital information and more. Tune in daily to the best radio station. VOP, Voice of the People, 90.3 FM, Lagos. Now, you have a voice. Speak up.
I just want to check if we fully understand what it means to welcome guests like yourself an African way. Thank you so much. In other cultures, they do it their own way. So as Africans, we must not be ashamed to do it our own way. And that's how we'll earn respect. We mustn't be ashamed. I'm sitting in the boots of our Vice Chancellor, item number 2, opening and welcoming remarks. And I have learned through observation that sometimes when they request you to open and welcome, you even temper into other items like giving vote of thanks and others. And so I want to do it the right way. All of you, you are welcome to this public lecture hosted by the Department of Sociology and Anthropology in the School of Social Sciences. Please feel welcomed. Ours is to listen to the lecture and ask questions later in the context of African Renaissance. That is the key running word for today, African Renaissance. Let us not mix issues. Let's stick to the context so that as we leave the hall, we all share the same understanding of why we are Africans. You are all welcomed. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Professor Mautu, for the warm welcome. I want to believe that she has welcomed everybody. There's no one who would say, I'm not comfortable, I will not be able to ask questions, I will not be able to comment, because like she said, all are welcome. Without any waste of time, we are moving to our item 3, and that is context, African decolonization, according to sociology and anthropology. I want to believe that African Renaissance is so broad, but it is important that as our department is hosting this public lecture, that we are able to contextualize it in terms of what we are offering currently, and that is going to be done by our HOD, that is Dr. Lulu Makola. May we kindly please give her a round of applause as she ascends the podium.
Good morning. I will not be going into the greetings because the program director has done so, the dean of faculty has done so, and to avoid tautology, I'm just going to acknowledge all that are in the presence today. And I have only one request, that our students, can we just please make some noise? Guys, we deserve it. Say, hey! We did it, we did it. First of all, I think most of my speech, as promised, our guest speaker, that I'll be speaking to you today, that you consider some of the things that I will be mentioning just shortly. But firstly, let me start by thanking you for heeding to the call with so much humility and kindness. It is truly appreciated. Secondly, to give you some insights as to why we are gathered here today. To some, it may sound obvious, but please allow me these few minutes to unpack it for you. Sociology and anthropology as disciplines are known to be plagued by Eurocentric theories, making it a daunting task to find our own voices as African children. This comes to show that academic freedom in Africa is still not free. This is regardless of the fact that these two disciplines are parent disciplines to the social sciences. Sociologists and anthropologists to date are often sidetracked and placed in the margins in the public and both in the private sectors. But what is still surprising is that we are always first to be remembered when social ills are too much to bear. Perhaps this is so because capitalism does not reward hard labor, but instead rewards influence and ascribed social statuses, leaving many entrapped in a system they did not create. Dear Speaker, it is endemic passions of our future sociologists and anthropologists sitting here, students who are experiencing a rebirth through the decolonization of the mind, as though they are experiencing a collective consciousness. What this means is that they are ready to embark on the journey of questioning Eurocentrism, its ideologies and philosophical standing. And of course, the department and the entire university is in support with this. It is through public lectures of this nature that they get the opportunity to listen and to learn from you as they restructure themselves and their belief systems. These are students who are in love with education that speaks to who they are and what they stand for as Africans. Very short. Finally, to our dear students, this public lecture is designed to inspire you, to assure you that we are on the right path, that your cry for decolonization of the sociology and anthropology discipline that was previously dominated by white minority has been heard. Never again will your voice be silenced. Never again should you be afraid to engage Eurocentric values from an African standpoint. It is now time to leave your footprints as we create a history to look back on and say, we were there. To the DSA team, well done for your hard work and ensuring that our students get what they deserve, because we wouldn't be here without all of you. I will not go, it will sound like I'm going into the vote of thanks, but it shows, it shows by your presence here with the marketing team, the university management, that we are led and that we are backed. So let's not fear, but go into it with bravery. Let's take this day as the beginning of building Rome. Okay, no, building Africa. Yes, thank you.
Indeed, we are here to build Africa and not to build Rome. We have seen the posters, we have seen the communiques that have been circulated around that we will be speaking about decolonization of the mind through African spirituality. Like I said, today is the day to speak about all things African Renaissance, all things about decolonization of the mind. Like the HOD has said, we are here to question all the Eurocentric ideologies through African spirituality lens. Ladies and gentlemen, we are about to get to why we are here. We are about to hear from our speaker himself. But before we do that, it is important that we get to know about him. It is important that he gets to be introduced accordingly. And that is going to be done by our very director of the School of Social Sciences, Professor S.L. Sithole. Ladies and gentlemen, let us please show him some love.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Absheni. Sanbonani. Ndimacheroni. Nda slochile mandrebela kithi. On behalf of the School of Social Sciences, I would love to take this opportunity and observe the fact that we're hosting this particular event through the approval and appreciation of our VC and principal, Professor Mahlomo Khalong, this morning represented by our executive dean, Professor Mautu. I also want to recognize in absentia our DVC Teaching and Learning, Professor Madaji, this morning represented by Professor Sibanda, our Executive Dean in the in the Faculty of Management and Law. I also want to recognize in absentia our DVC Research, Innovation and Partnership, Professor Singh. And I also want to recognize and acknowledge the presence of our HOD hosting department, Dr. K.L. Makula. I said professor, maybe this is prophetic. The staff in the department, colleagues, HODs, directors, and everyone, all protocol observed. It is my singular pleasure and honor to present to you our guest speaker this morning, in the person of Professor Mathole Serofo Motshekga. Now, Prof. Mathole Motshekga is the founder and executive director of the Kara Heritage Institute, which is a leading South African organization working for the humanity of Africa by bringing our past African heritage into the present and shaping our future. The Kara Heritage Institute is committed to leveraging the knowledge and ethos of Africa's heritage to grow sustainable and empowered communities, which ultimately gain the freedom to shape their own destiny. The Kara Institute believes that by reigniting awareness of our past African heritage and bringing indigenous values and principles back into our present culture, we can thus recover the humanity of all South Africans and Africans for the future. This, according to the Institute, can lead to the restoration of self-knowledge, sense of self-worth and self-esteem, the culture of self-help and self-reliance, as well as the development of the will to develop and progress. The role of the Kara Institute is to educate others and to build African heritage, culture, tradition, and religion with a view to igniting true African Renaissance. Prof. Motshekga is an academic, a researcher, a lawyer, and retired politician. He was an ANC Member of Parliament between May 2009 and May 2024, during which time he was Chief Whip of the Majority Party for the 5 years to 2013. Prof. Motshekga served as the second Premier of Gauteng Province from 1998 to 1999. He also served 2 terms as a member of the ANC's National Executive Committee. Prof. Motshekga is a native of Limpopo. His qualifications include a B. Juris, an LLB, and LLD from UNISA. The same institution where he was senior lecturer from 1984 to 1994. He obtained his LLM from Harvard Law School. He's an admitted advocate of the Supreme Court of South Africa. And Prof. Motshekga, you can applaud that. It's quite in order. Thank you. Prof. Motshekga is a well-renowned thinker, a scholar, and has been an activist for the mental liberation of Africans for most of his life. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Dr. Professor Advocate Motshekga.
Program Director, Professor Mkhalong in absentia, Executive Dean, Professor Mautu, Professor Stole, Professor Makola, Ntate Komweswana. I see you are seated next to Royalty Chief Bobedi, next to you. Morning, Chief. Let me depart from the established procedure, protocol, and say, let me say that there's nothing as befitting as the choice of the public lecture as the African Renaissance public lecture hosted by the Department of Sociology and Anthropology. If there's something that has been worrying me in my life, is that the concept of public African Renaissance has been disappearing from our vocab, because as Africans we are a communal people, but we have developed individualism. And when I was talking to Professor Makola, she was lamenting about this problem of individualism which has come into our life. But perhaps is a good reason. It's good that the concept of the African Renaissance, which Professor Makola says has now taken individual interpretations, that it died, so that those individual interpretations should also die, and so that this institution should have an opportunity to revive it, because this institution has been a terrain of struggle. And if we want to pursue the struggle of the African people, there would be no better place to start that struggle from than here. Because you heard that I come from the ANC. I'm still a member of the ANC, but I'm not afraid to tell you that up to now, we achieved political freedom, not social and economic freedom. Which means that given the current situation where you have the government of national unity, which is going to be a stumbling block to transformation to a large extent, we need new activists. Activists for social, cultural, social and economic development. And we can't find those activists anywhere except here. And my research shows me that there's no revolution that ever succeeded unless it was led by young people. And we can't find young people elsewhere than here. And of course, young people also can lead a revolution if they are being educated by intellectuals. And we would not be here if this university was not led by revolutionary intellectuals and young intellectuals like Dr. Malachi, who chased me all over. And when I met him, I could not even recognize him. I greeted someone from Northwest sitting somewhere, and when I looked at my back, I saw him. He said, "No, it's me." So that's how we met. So he could do well in the underground. You know, the African Renaissance is about the struggle of African people. And that struggle of the African people has not ended, as I said, because we are the descendants of slaves. We are the victims of British and apartheid colonialism. And the fact that today, because of our own making, because as African people, we spend more time fighting amongst ourselves, but fighting for the crumbs from the table of the former colonial masters. And we are now at the risk of losing South Africa to former colonial people. And if we lose South Africa, we have lost the whole of the continent after more than 100 years of struggle by our people. Even now, we don't know where the graves of some of our people are. But before we can even go and fetch their spirits and bring them back, we are handing over the country back to former colonial people. Now, the NDP says in its preamble that we are an African people and that this country is an African country. I come from an organization which says we must create a non-racial society. I have no problem with that. But creating a non-racial society doesn't mean that this country must be an outpost of Europe on the southern tip of the continent. This country must remain an African country led by African people. Now, that means, therefore, that the African people that must lead this country must first and foremost know who they are, where they come from, what is their purpose in life, and what is their destiny. But we are not able to answer those questions because the greatest damage done to us by British and apartheid colonialism is not the state capture of Judge Zondo. It is the mental capture. We as an African people are mentally captured, and as a result, when you wake up, you must look for an Indian or a white man and ask them, what should I do this morning? What should I eat this morning? How should I walk this morning? How should I smile this morning? Because we don't know who we are. So I'm suggesting that the first task that we have to face is to know who we are. And if we can know who we are, then we will be on the right path to realize the African Renaissance. Now, for us to know who we are, we have to decolonize our minds. And I respect the Congress of South African Students who said, let's rewrite history. But we as people in government did not listen to the young people. The Department of Basic Education, led by my wife, established a task team to rewrite African history. But even today, there's no new textbook of history. Now, we had African cultural, African Renaissance at national level, provincial levels, at the SADC level. Those structures have disappeared because as leaders, we personalize things. So when I leave office, those who come after me, they also want to establish their legacy. At the end, we have so many legacies which are not taking us anywhere. So I think the message that we must send to the young people is that put your country first and become a servant of your country, and you will reap the benefits from your country. And therefore, I want to start by saying, there's a young man who was called Pixley Isagagaseme. He was a law student at the University of Columbia in 1906. He gave a lecture of Africa. And that was the first young man to define himself as an African. And he also said, the glories of ancient Egypt and ancient Ethiopia were the product of the African genius. Now, if you look at the situation today, the whole of Europe, they listen to a plagiarist called Plato, who overheard the priests of Egypt saying that there's a country called Atlantis. And he decided that there was an island in the Atlantic Ocean where civilization started and was started by Europeans who took it into Egypt, and therefore the civilization of Egypt, according to him and Europeans, becomes a European civilization, which is a blue lie. But this young man, Pixley Isagagaseme, said he saw a new civilization, a new and unique civilization being added to the world. And he said that civilization would be a spiritual and humanist civilization. But if you look around us now, you open the television, it's people who, pastors, beating up school children and teachers. It's people who are shooting others. It's people, violence. There's no longer any news except violence, because we did not pursue what Pixliga Seme said, the establishment of a spiritual and humanist civilization. Hoshimushwesho used to say there is a difference between Wutu and Pofo. Now what we have come, or what we have made out of our struggles, is to create an animal farm. We behave like animals. And there's no cure to this animal farm behavior than returning back to knowing who we are, where do we come from, and then determining where do we want to go. You know, Pixliga Seme was profoundly influenced by Ethiopianism, and Ethiopianized Pan-Africanism. So the founders and leaders of the struggle of the African people were deeply spiritual and religious people. And that's why during their time, we don't talk about corruption. We talk about commitment to free Africa, build Africa, and create a better life for the people of Africa. But our generation now has nothing to do with a better life for the people of Africa. It has to do with a better life for myself or my family, which most Christians say, Hanna wala palaka, relatela morena. It's all you need, you, your wife and children, not even extended family, you follow Jesus. That's a great achievement, without even knowing who that Jesus is and how he looked like. Now, Pixley Isagaga Seme was followed by a man called Marcus Garvey. I know some people in my organization would not want Marcus Garvey because they will say he's a Pan-Africanist and therefore he's aligned with PAC and things like that. And it's only when people don't want to study and analyze for themselves, they want to listen to others, that they come to wrong conclusions. Marcus Garvey was an intellectual. He was one of the fathers of the African Renaissance. He catalyzed what came to be known as the Harlem Renaissance or the Negro Renaissance in New York. That Negro Renaissance, according to Mandela, influenced him, Mandela, Nkrumah, Nandi Azikiwe of Algeria, and the whole Pan-African movement was influenced by that Harlem Renaissance. Even in the early 60s, Mandela, Fidel Castro, Patrice Lumumba, they met at Harlem, which became a cradle of African Pan-Africanism. Now, the African Renaissance movement has a history, Professor Makoba, so that I must not come here and create a philosophy of public renaissance. It was there before even my grandfather was born. So that means, therefore, that history is very important, and history of education is important. So we must not have people running around making themselves modern philosophers. Everything has a history. Let's start with the history. Now, but if we want to decolonize our minds, we must start with something that is very uncomfortable, which can make half of this lecture walk out and leave me alone, maybe 2 hours. And this is this, that, you know, many people don't know that the Bible was written in Africa, in Alexandria. And many people who wrote that Bible were African people. And they wrote a good, correct story in the Bible. But after the Romans, who were a European people, colonized Egypt, they started to revise the Bible. As we sit here, it was revised 1,000 times. Now, if the Bible is the word of God, who are these Europeans who never had a meeting with God or a breakfast with God? Where did they get the authority to revise the Bible 1,000 times? And what is it that they were putting in the Bible which God had forgotten to put there? And one of the big lies they put in the Bible is that African people descended from Ham, the cursed son of Noah, and that's why we are black, and that's why we are servants of Asians and Europeans. And that is a blue lie. There's no African who descended from Ham as a son of Noah. Noah was a European. If you accept that, it means you are saying you were once Europeans and then you were turned into Africans, which would be illogical and irrational. So we were Africans from the beginning. And we are not the descendant of Noah, we are not the descendant of Adam. Actually, it's even doubtful if Adam was ever there. It's also doubtful if Eve was ever there, because archaeology is so advanced. But there's no archaeologist who has found a skeleton of Adam and Eve anywhere in the world. And now, they say there was a Garden of Eden. Hey, if there was a Garden of Eden and Adam produced people there, where can't we find the Garden of Eden and the burials of those people that lived there? The truth of the matter is that we don't read the Bible correctly. If you read the Bible and do the calculations, Adam was supposedly created in the year 4004 BC. 4004 BC. By the year 30,000 BC, the pyramids were there in Egypt, the sun temples were there, the obelisks were there, and they did not fall from heaven. They were built by an indigenous African people, which means we existed before Adam. And writing was invented before Adam, which means we invented writing before Adam. What did they do with our writing, which was hieroglyphics? They turned those things around and created the Jewish out of hieroglyphics, the Greek, the Roman, and the European alphabet. So these things that you see today, you write, they come from you distorted and brought back to you, and then you are told that you are an oral people, illiterate people. How do inventors of the alphabet become people of oral history? So this is falsification of history and the origins of civilization. So we are victims of falsehoods. Now, how do we come out of this situation? If you go to the British Museum, there are chambers where they would not let you in. You go to the Library of Congress in the US, there are places they would not let you in. You go to the Louvre Museum in Paris, they won't let you in, because the secrets about who you are kept there. But because Europeans love money and the gospel of Philip, which says that if you find the truth will save you. But let me go to you see, I have a paper which will show you that actually, page 2. This paper will show you that in the Bible they tell you that there is Adam, there's Enos, and so on, Mahalaleel, and so on. Those people, you see the first column, those are the African ancestors called Neteru, gods of the first time. And now, so the Africans who originated at the source of the Nile are the people who invented civilization. The source of the Nile is in inner Africa. It's not in Egypt. Now, those indigenous Africans gave birth to what are called Ethiopians. So that's why until recently, we are the Ethiopians, not the people of Haile Selassie. The people of modern Ethiopia are a hybrid between Africans, Arabs, and Jews. But now there is racism in Ethiopia because the light-skinned people of Ethiopia, who are coloreds, born of Africans and Arabs and other people, think that they are real people. And then the word that Ethiopia was called Abyssinia. Abyssinia comes from Habasha, which mixed people. Now the mixed people in Ethiopia are now better people than the dark people who are ourselves. That's racism. Now, the name Ethiopia, you see the modern Sudan, right down to Uganda, Kenya, and that was the Ethiopia. Its boundary was the equator in the south. And then south of the equator was a country called Akazimba, in Greek, Agizimba. Now, which means that if you want to talk about civilization and any modern things, writing and so on, it comes from the Ethiopians who are yourselves. And that's why the founders of the leaders of the struggle of the African people called themselves Ethiopians. And Ethiopianism catalyzed Pan-Africanism. Now, you can see that the names under Ethiopia are virtually the same as the name this side. Then Egyptians. Even today, universities are debating about who were the real Egyptians. Where did they come from? Because there's no civilization in the world today which cannot be traced back to Egypt. But when you trace it back to Egypt, they divert and take Egypt to Atlantis in the Atlantic Ocean. They don't tell you the truth that the Egyptians are the descendants of the Ethiopians, and the Ethiopians are yourselves. And therefore, the Egyptians are descended from indigenous African people. And the civilization of Egypt is the indigenous civilization of Africa. Now the Jews, you see them, you see that man Adam there, that group, they just changed the names of these African names. They took the African names and give them the Jewish names. And then saying that if you want to know about human history, you must go to the Bible. It's a lie. The Bible doesn't talk about the original human history. The Bible was written by 72 scholars in Alexandria. They were using the library at the University of Alexandria. But they are also saying that the Greeks started the University of Alexandria. It's another blue lie. What happened was that there was a university called the University of Anu. If you read the Bible, you'll find the city of On, O-N, that is a corruption of the word Anu, an African word which means the city of the sun. And in Greek, that city of the sun is Heliopolis. Therefore, the African University of Anu became the University of Heliopolis and therefore became a Greek university. When Ptolemy, called Ptolemy, who was a general of Alexander, ruled Egypt, they took the books from the University of Heliopolis, put them in Alexandria, and have the University of Alexandria. So the University of Alexandria would not have existed within the books that came from an African university and other books from temples. So the University of Alexandria is not a Greek university, it's not a European university, it's an African university that created by these Ethiopians. And the Egyptians and Ethiopians, they said they descended from the Shemshu Hor, or Horus kings. Now, the word Shemshu Hara, Hara is this, can you lift it a bit? You see, no, up, I'm sorry. You see that word Hara, that Hara is also Kara. Now, the people that that Kara, the people that descended from Kara, the word Kara means the spirit, Ka is spirit, Ra is the sun. So Kara means the spirit of the sun, or the spiritual sun, or the spiritual or divine light. So African people say they are the descendants of the spiritual or divine light. So we were not created on a farm by some god called Jehovah. We're not created there. We descend from the spiritual sun or divine light. Now, our ancestors, therefore, came to be known as the Shamshu Hara, which means the servants of the sun, or the servants of light. Now, In short, these Temshuhara are also called as the Horus Kings. And there is a picture of, I'll just get, yeah, this one. Now, in other words, I'm trying to trace our history from the spiritual world, before Adam was and the snake that fell in love with his wife right there. I'm talking about that time. A man blames the snake for doing what he failed to do. You see, if you go to any church, when you pray, you say Amen. That they don't tell you where the word Amen comes. If you explore all the European language, there's no word Amen. It comes from Africa. In Africa, it is Amani, Amun, Amen. In Arab is Amin. That is the ram-headed God. You see that Amen there. And that ram-headed man is followed by the bull and a sun disk on the lunar crescent, which means the bull symbolizes the embodiment of life. And we have all run away from the rural areas, and then we don't keep cattle. And but when you die, they tell you that a bull must be slaughtered if you are a man. A cow must be slaughtered, black cow or bull, if you are a woman. Because the bull is the vehicle of the spirit. So, and that's why even when you want to marry, when I want to tenders and so on, tenders, that marriage will not last. And they tell you that there is Adam and Eve. They stole that. You see that man and woman there? Gemini, Mara. Ma is mother, Ra is father. Which means the foundation of a family is husband and wife. It's a spiritual thing. And you can see there's no one who is above another. They are equal partners there, at a spiritual level. Now imagine the amount of money that we spend fighting gender-based violence. This gender-based violence is the product of the wrong philosophies that we have been taught and we are pursuing. You see that animal there, cancer, called Kipira, symbolizes the word of the ram, which says to the two, give birth, reproduce. Now, they say, Garden of Eden, they stole that idea from them. Then you see Liu, Moana Mutapa, Osiris, is a lion. And behind the lion, you see is a woman. People use the lion as a symbol of power. But where does the lion get power? From a woman. Now, who is more powerful in this world? Who is more powerful? So, if young men want to lead this continent, They must just disabuse themselves of the fact that because of the muscles, they are the powerful and so on. It's not like that. Maybe the woman created us with our muscles to save her. So we must just do our work for the woman who created us. You see Vigo down here. That Vigo is Virgin Mother. Because there is no man who can be a virgin father. That's why this story in the Bible, that God the Father is the one who created Jesus through the Virgin Mother. How does the Mary become virgin when already there's a father? It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. And also, Mary was an ordinary African woman. Her name was Mary Amun. You see Amun at the top. And in Greek, Mary Amun is Mariam. And the surname Mariam you can't find anywhere in the world except in Africa. And that's why we had Mengistu Haile Mariam. And you know, I don't know, you know the name of Jesus. Jesus' name was Yoshu. In Africa we say Yoshu, 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 Nyambe. Nyambe is the word of God. Now, Yoshu in Hebrew is Yeshua. So Jesus' mother was Miriam, and Jesus was Yeshu or Yeshua ben Miriam. In Greek, Jesus was Jesus ben Mariam. Now, the liars from Europe, they change that Yeshua and make it, and they come and say it's Jesus Christ, but Jesus and Christ is not the same person. And Christ is a spiritual being. The word Christ is a distortion, corruption of the word harakte or xp acte. Xp acte in Greek is xp ichtoch, and it is pronounced Christos. And it means the divine light and life. So the word Christos, divine light and life, is in every one of us. So there's no one of you who is not a Christ. So these people who say they are Christians and others are non-Christians, they are lying. You can't be alive unless you have the Christ in you. That's why indigenous African churches, they describe God, Christ, as the inner light, indwelling spirit, the God within. And about how Lily Susing Olebutading, Vina Sedilaga, Sedilaga Ponsetzel. Because the God is in you. And then you must talk to the God in you to show you the way. And how should you talk of it? Ubina kopelo bareng tsela ka ibona inyuluha, which means each one of us, we are a divine spark from God. Now, there's no death. So when the body is tired, because we drink too much, we smoke too much, we jive too much, the body gets tired. So the spirit in you that came from God goes back to God. That's why when people get old and sick, they start saying, hey, why mudimu sanji? Mudimu anji jo ikuja. Mudimu jai, ujia moya wolunga mwarea. Which means there is no death. The problem is one. that when we are alive now, we are more interested in material things and ignore the spiritual things. How is it on earth that you want to be a billionaire? What do you do with a billion? Why do you want to have a car costing 5 million when other people have nothing to eat? Why do you want to have 3 houses, 3 in Joburg, 5 Hamashashani, and another one in Venda? What do you do with this house when other people are homeless? It means we are attached to matter and forget that inside this body there is a Spirit of God. And that Spirit of God knows that it has a home elsewhere. That's why Luther bare haila gale o molfase. But that was for colonial purposes. But don't worry about local fasting. Le haila o le kwalo. It's a false religion. The truth is that we come from God, and each one of us has been given a mission to fulfill. And when we live here, you sit here, you are saying you are students. You are not studying for yourselves. You are studying to develop the capacity to serve the people of God. And therefore, the day you die, you must go and explain what have you done for the people of God, not for yourself. Because if you have not done anything for the people of God, what's going to happen? Your spirit cannot ascend to heaven. Your spirit comes back. You start wanting to live in animals. The animals become vicious. You want to live in other human beings. That's why today there are more people banyaga utrasa than babanyaga ubereka. And utrasa onalizela jepit. There are people who truly are sent or batrase batushe batho. There are people who babato utrasa because the evil spirits in them have no home elsewhere. Because you cannot explain to me that a normal human man can rape a 6-year-old child, that a young boy can rape his grandmother. Those things are abnormalities which are caused by these restless spirits everywhere. Now, we cannot solve our current social ills by making big budgets, really employing more police people, and the police are not going to help us. The sickness that is in us is a spiritual sickness. We must address that spiritual sickness. And this spiritual sickness is becoming worse and worse. Because you see, with respect to my fellow Christians, the European churches are political institutions. They have nothing to do with our spirituality. If they started as a Roman church, which hijacked the Coptic church in Egypt and said that Jesus was the founder of Christianity. If you read Saint Hippo, this Saint Augustine of Hippo, who was an African from Algeria, he says that which is called Christianity never has not existed. Christianity existed in Africa before it existed in Europe. Where was this Christianity? Do you know the Sphinx of Egypt? That Sphinx symbolizes the Son or Word of God who came in the flesh. So the oldest statue of the Christ on earth are the sphinxes of ancient Ethiopia and Egypt, especially the Sphinx of Giza. So what the Romans did, they come and take an innocent young African man, paint him white, and say, from today you are Jesus Christ, and you are the founder of Christianity. And they say your mother conceived you without meeting a man. You are the Son of God. Who believes in you will never die. They live forever. And Jesus didn't even know that story when he died. And now, they say Jesus died and then he resurrected after 3 days. Actually, Jesus was never dead. A cousin of him called Simon of Cyrene from Libya, because Libya was not an Arab country, saw Jesus tired and helped him with the cross. Now in that pandemonium, they crucified Simon of Cyrene, not Jesus. But because women are the cleverest, the mother of Jesus and his wife, Mary Magdalene, they went to the grave and sat there. When people came, they say, what are you looking for? They say, the corpse of Jesus. They say, no, he resurrected, he has gone to heaven. Which was not true. Jesus had run away with his wife, they ran to Ethiopia. Now, there are so many of us now who are saying we are waiting for Jesus to come back. There is no Jesus who is coming back. You just have to behave well and do the right thing on earth, and then you will go to heaven, you will find Jesus and other ancestors there. Yeah, now I will get the shortcuts. You see how that picture. You see, Halga Sheba, even the Pope will have one picture here, XP. Lebona XP. Bargi the Kiro monogram. I can tell you, if the Pope can come here today with all his cardinals, ask him to explain that thing, they will not be able to explain it because they just stole it. And Constantine the Great, before he went to war, he said he saw this picture and God said, use it. If you use it, you'll conquer. And then if you go to the South African army, you'll see that thing as the symbol of the army because we took it from the Romans. But you see the circle inside. That circle symbolizes the Virgin Mother of the Son, which is symbolized by P. Can you see the P there? Now, which means the Son that we see is a child of the Queen of the Virgin Mother in heaven called Muwariwe Denga. Muwariwe Denga, Muwari in Venda is Nwari, in Tsonga is in Tsonga is Nwari, in Venda is Nwali, and then that Queen of Heaven in Sotho is Muhali. That's why unali Mahalisbek Tabaja Muhali, and then that Virgin. That mother is also called the Most High, is Zimu in Ndebele, is Muzimu in Venda and Shona, it is Mudimu in Sotho, Pedi and Tswana, which means the African people in the whole of Southern Africa, regardless of whether you are Mlobedu, you are Venda, you are Tsonga, you are Pedi, you are Ndebele, we believed in the Queen of Heaven. not a human person called Mary, Mother of Jesus. We believe in a spiritual being. Now that spiritual being gives birth to the sun. And that's why we are called sun worshippers, because the sun is the physical manifestation of the spiritual or divine light. And now the sun gives birth to 4 children: Mundu, Faham, Man, Mutapa, Omta, Eagle, Mwana Mutapa, Lion, and Amen, the Lamb of God. So that is a summary of what we call Karaism, a philosophy which was founded by the African prophet called Kem or Tautau Harama. Tautau Harama in Greek is thought Hermes. That is the first of all prophets who invented writing, philosophy, sciences, and so on. If you can look at an ambulance, you will see 2 snakes winding like that. That is the rod of Lord Kem or Thought Hermes. They take it Barakia Asclepius, the Greek. The oath here of the doctors came from that Lord Chemist. So if we really want to transform, and today I want to suggest that there is no other university which can lead the transformation than this university. We must start by saying, I hope there are people from the Department of Philosophy, because philosophy has been putting into the heads of our children that if you want to study philosophy, you must study Pythagoras, Solon, Socrates, Plato, Aristotle. All those people studied in Egypt. Now, why do we study from our students as Africans? We taught them, now we say they are our professors. So I want to challenge the leadership of the university. I'm prepared to supply you with with the books. That UNISA, University of Cape Town, VETS, and all these white universities cannot offer you what these professors here and this university can offer you. And that therefore, I propose, I'm stealing the idea I got from Professor Makola this morning, that we need a forum, possibly something we can call the African Renaissance Forum, and bring all our scholars here and other progressive scholars in other universities, and really set down to change the curriculum of what is taught in these institutions. Because these institutions, they are promoting the capturing of the minds of our young people. So we must break away, we must rebel against Eurocentrism. We must be rebels. Now, the advantage that you have, I know I'm running out of time, but politicians talk too much even if they don't talk sense. I'm trying to look for, if you go into the church, you will see they put 5 candles. Those 5 candles come from that. And then also if you go to the church, you will find seven spiritual worlds, also called the kingdoms of light. They are inhabited by 7 spiritual beings called the great magicians or Balozi, which are spiritual beings. Those are our ancestors, spiritual ancestors. Now, these spiritual ancestors appear like 7 stars called the Pleiades stars or circumpolar stars. These stars are called Chirimela in Kalanga, Chilimela in Kalanga, Chirimela in Venda, Chirimela in Tsonga, Kilimela in Lobedu, Silimela in Bedi, and then Kilimia in Swahili. So that the astronomy that they teach you in the university, they're telling you that they will first fly into heaven and find out with satellites what is there. African people knew what is in heaven. They knew about these stars. And they say that when these stars appear at the beginning of September, it is the beginning of the new year. That's why it is called Chirimu, Shirimu, Chirimu, Silimu, and so on. So astronomy comes from yourselves. Why do you go and study another astronomy from Europe? They talk about Copernicus. Copernicus took that information from Africa. Now, as I conclude, there is what we call the zodiac, Benben stone. That Benben stone zodiac, in the middle is a woman. And then that woman gives birth to a son who consists of mind, body, and spirit, which manifests as the 3 stars of the Orion belt, which look like 3 bush pigs. Ngulube horned. That's why now I'm Ngulube. Ngulube from heaven. Now, these 3 stars of the Orion belt are surrounded by four bush piglets, Banangulube. Then these 4 bush piglets are surrounded by 7 stars of the Pleiades. They are then surrounded by the zodiac. The zodiac is inhabited by 12 spiritual or light beings called Wundoro, Lion Gods, Vantare, Bakhalekale, and so on. Those 12 gods are the ones that control the earth and ourselves. So the governance, cosmic governance, is based in heaven. That's why when it's September, nature is very active. Even mad people get more mad. And then there's productivity. Because this is a dictation from above. Now, these 12 gods control us by the 7 planets. These 7 planets appear like the star of Israel. You see the way Babulaba and Albasari go, because Abasana Mudimu rapela the stars. When you are in church, very only angels. These angels, they mean the planets, very filema in our one. And what these are angels. When I rapela Gabriel, can't you rapela a planet, a Philolina lam Sjuta. And for as long as utweju makholwa hao ubuthateng usengozi usebunzimeni. Yesterday one man come to me ubekela correctional services ke bolela le yena are you know I didn't believe lojija lena ja Basotho and so on. Are one day ke tsama go venda somebody antshwara a re tla go botjeta ba ja hao wena o tloejiwa dimo ba hao, that's why o le bothateng. This man tells me when I was told this, I was actually contemplating committing suicide. He wants to commit suicide because of spiritual unrest. And when he went to do what they told him, I am a woman who has never been to school. This lady Arabella, protect these children, and also ask the other ancestors to protect these children. But ask those ancestors also to tell Iwe Gole Musikabanu. Gole Musikabanu is the Queen of Heaven who controls all of us and everything on earth. So anybody or badimu abagona, arabadimu ki madimon, ki enali dimon, ki enali dimon. And let me just conclude. I will send you the paper because I'm not able to read what I've written. Botata bja rona mothong ko re latela a calendar which make us stand on our head with our feet up. You see, end of April, there are 3 stars of the Orion belt which disappear. They appear on the 21st of June. That 21st of June is the birthday of Mundu, Faham. And Mundu is symbolized by a goat. That's why the Zulus do the right thing. They put spandla here. Babulaela ngwana pudi. Pudi is the animal that will connect you with your ancestors. And then the sun appears then in June. The June you must celebrate the feast of the ancestors. Renara celebrate Saint John. Saint John Gima. And after 3 months the sun reaches the equator. That's the birthplace of the hawk-headed goat. Bavenda barge raluvimba, Basotho barge ralebepe, and Gemutapa. Now, when the sun leaves the equator, it comes down to the Tropic of Capricorn, Efitamu Wutokwa, called Anuba. That's where the sun reaches on the 25th of December, and the sun performs a circular dance. Why is the sun dancing? The sun dancing because the spiritual or divine light has reached the earth to animate us and the whole of nature. And now, when the sun is there, it's called Ra Harakte, which means Ra is the father, Harakte is XP Ichtot, is Christ. So what you call Christ is the child of the sun. It's not the child of Jehovah. It's the child of the sun. Then when the sun leaves the south, it goes to the north until the 21st of October, which means that the sun dies in the south and resurrects in the north. The Catholic imperialists, the Roman imperialists, say that Jesus died on a Friday and resurrected on the 3rd day is a blue lie. There's no Jesus who died and resurrected. It is the sun that dies in the south and resurrects in the north. That may not talk too much, so I deny the time to talk. Thank you very much.
What does one say after this? Shoo. So much has been said. So much has been shared. Indeed, if we were to transform, we need to know our history. Indeed, if we want to know our purpose, our identity, and our destinies, we need to know who we are, and we need to know where we come from. And I think that has been shared so much in full, so much in detail. I'm not going to be repeating everything that has been said, but ukwile. I want to believe that we're all listening, we're all jotting down our questions, we're all writing down our comments, and this is the opportunity for us to ask questions and comments. Prof, thank you so much for such a rich public lecture. We have indeed learned so much. We need to go back to our roots. I have so many questions myself. I wish I was not on the other side of the mic so that I just ask alone. But we thank you for your presence. We want to believe that I'm not the only one with so much questions and so much things that are just pondering in my mind, especially that we are Christians, we believe in the Bible, and now we heard all those things about the Bible. So yeah, it is what it is. Can I see by show of hands? I'm noting the first one. I'll take 2 this side, 2 in the middle, and then 2 this side, and then we'll take the other round. Do we have a roaming mic? Oh, the gentleman will go first, followed by this one, and then 2, 3, and then 4, in that order.
No, thank you very much. My name is Paswan Mphahlele. I'm a student of Honours in Public Administration. My question, sir, is related to governance structures insofar as spirituality is concerned. Because I believe we are ruled by certain structures in our country, although we may be having certain beliefs as a people. I want to believe that you have been a legislator since the year 1998, which is now more than 25 good years. You have served as a premier of the second premier of Gauteng after Premier Tokyo Sogwale. And you have also served in various committees in the National Assembly. And my question to you is, deep as you have explained the question of spirituality, and thank you very much, is that do you believe that those that we praise today, like the founder of the ANC, Pixley Isaka Seme, Anton Lembed, and many others, that we continue to sing their names today, are what we may term as the African ancestors, or what we may term as ancestors of the African struggle or revolution? And if that is the case, why then have we not been able to use spirituality, including to legislate spirituality in the African context for African people to find their progress? I hope I make sense. Thank you very much.
Check 1, 2.
Thank you for that. Thank you for the time.
Check.
Thank you, everyone. I would like to just give thanks to our prof there for being available for us to ask questions.
My name is Moses Musima, one of the UL student in political studies, and I also do philosophy in my modules.
For this general public lecture, man. And then some people I know here, they think maybe they think you're not making sense or you are lying, or because this information is new to them. So yeah, I have read this information maybe 5 years ago when they were talking about the unification of God, the God of the south of Egypt, Amun, the God of the north of Egypt, which is Ra, and then they unified them to, when the two states came together, they unified their gods and created an Amun-Ra God. And then when the Europeans came in to conquer Egypt, especially Ptolemy the first Soter, when he came there, he told the Egyptians, okay.
If you're not speaking, we are told that when there are too many mics that are on, they are causing disturbances. If you are not speaking, please switch off your mic. Thank you.
Let's try this one. So yeah, this one seems quite fun.
So when Ptolemy the first Soter came in and he told the Egyptians to create a sculpture that represents God, him as God, and then he wanted the Greek God, which was Apis that time, and then unified him with Osiris to form Osir Apis, and then Serapis Christus later. And then later when they created what we call Christianity in Rome, the clandestine ones, there was this battle between some African bishops. There is this one bishop which was, they say it was Aries from Libya. So that bishop, what he did was to say, when they introduced the Jesus Christ mythology, so they unified the god of Greek that time, it was Zeus, and then the god of Rome, Jupiter, to form what we call Jupiter Zeus, and then Jesus Christ. And then, so Apis was stressing that what we are doing now is to personify the things that in the past were not human. So, and then after fighting the bishops at Conference of Nicaea in 325 AD, so what they did, Constantine and his soldiers, went in and killed those pastors bishops from Africa, saying no, they are distorting their intention. I don't know what was the intention. Maybe was to conquer Africa with whatever. I don't know. So they killed Aries and his company, and then later they created the conference called the Conference of Ephesus, that was aiming to clear the arguments that Aries from Libya and other bishops were stressing about. So what I want to share here is that what Professor is saying is not something or lying. It's history. It's part of us, even though you don't know it. These things happened, and then if you want this information, you can go to him. There's still other videos there where the people like there's this American doctor. It was Joseph Johannin, something like that. He was always stressing about these things, trying to teach us about how this colonial battle started, and then how will it end? It will end if maybe all of us as young people can and invest much time on these things, our spirituality and the history itself. Well, thank you.
There were hands that I noted for the first round. Are they still going on? There were the two last hands so that Prof can.
Testing, 1 million, 2. Okay, I'd like to express my gratitude to Prof for enriching us with such wise words and also reminding us of our history, our culture. I'm very fond of the concept of spirituality, and I have done an in-depth research into it, have tried speaking to my peers as well as elder people, and they tend to dismiss me and tell me that I'm going down the wrong path, I'm being misled, I am being deceived by the devil because I'm not supposed to be questioning things that are taught in church, the Christian values that I was raised with. So, Prof, I have a lot of things that I want to say, questions that I want to ask. And the first one that I want to touch on is, you spoke of the snake that is spoken about in the book of Genesis, where the Bible begins. So I have tried to connect the dots between that snake and the snake that appears on the medical sign, as well as the snake that is spoken about in modern or urban legend of chakras. And the serpent is often described as the one that the Kundalini snake. The serpent is often described as one that lies beneath the spine of all of us. And if you undergo a spiritual journey where you try to detach from the ego in such a way that you do not indulge in worldly things and materialism, and you meditate often, meditate with prayer, eat clean, drink water, this serpent rises from above the spine, going up the 7 vessels which are called chakras. And when this serpent rises until the 3rd eye, which is often associated with the eye of Horus, and this 3rd eye in medical terms is called I forgot what it's called, but it's the pineal gland, in medical terms. Once the serpent reaches that point, the human being reaches a state of enlightenment where they detach from worldly things, experience bliss to its extremes. I wanted to find out from you, Prof, what is your take on that part? Thank you.
Thank you. Oh, it's me here. I don't know. My name is Morores Kukune. I'm the chairperson for Zandan Philosophical Society Student Chapter. So, yes, I have a question. In fact, it's 2 questions, but after 1 question, I would like to make a remark. The first question is, it's encompassed, there's actually 3 questions in this 1 question, is who's God, what is heaven, and what is hell? And in asking this question, I would like to oppose some of the definitions you made about God, heaven, and hell. 1, I don't think God exists as how we define God exists today. And how do I define God then myself? I say God is an idea that remains in our brains, and if we humans die or be extinct from this earth, then God died. So as Friedrich Nietzsche said, God died. We humans today, as we define God, we define the God that died and died long time ago. So what is the initial definition of God? The initial definition of God was that as humans existed, there is a term in sociology they call nature of humans. Humans have their nature, and in order to regulate that particular nature, they needed to identify one superpower that would be looked up to and be constitutional in abstract, to say we have to live like this, because if not, then God will punish you. So the God that we refer to today is not a God that is the Almighty or one individual God. Each person sitting here today have their own God, right? So what is hell? There's nothing called hell. What is heaven? There's nothing called heaven. Because how people define heaven today, they will say it's up there. What about a person who's staying, let's say, directly opposite from where we are on earth, down there? Where does that person point? Heaven. So we point opposite sides and we call them heaven. So do we have heaven really? So another question I want to ask is, you mentioned the issue of decolonization. So for us, you said to decolonize our mind, we need, the question is, for us to decolonize our mind, what is it there that is functional to adopt to? Is it the African customs philosophy? And what extent can we consider this African customs philosophy and tradition and spirituality to be true, considering that we had many years of intentional disfiguring of this African customs and African spirituality? So we must not make a mistake of our leaders and leaders of, let's say, the French Revolution, where we will fight for spiritual revolution, but there's no alternative functional space. And sitting here, we have the responsibility ourselves to determine the spirituality we want our kids to. Spirituality today, we reference from the interpretation of a white man. Thank you.
Thank you very much for all the questions to you. You may ascend the podium to respond.
Yes, I can do it from here. From the questions, I like one thing, that I was not talking to puppets. Because puppets accept everything that you say, and then from there they go and preach it as something original. So this did not happen here. I was in politics from the 70s. And I was talking to a professor here, that I used to come to this. Firstly, I worked at this university as a clerk. Things I was talking about was spirituality, Karaism. And because I was in the ANC people were not comfortable. They said, no, this man is PAC. It means he has infiltrated the ANC, because the things that he talks are not the things that belong to the ANC. And then at the end, they called me in Lusaka. I met Jacob Zuma and John Katla. They were the head of the intelligence there. They say, no man, just explain. People accuse you of this, but we don't know you to be that. I explained that, you can't liberate people who don't know who they are. When we pursue the struggle for liberation, we must also recognize the fact that British imperialism and apartheid imperialism has destroyed the minds of our people. That's why Mbule said, something like that. Yeah. So the ANC leadership understood and said, go and continue with your work. We will talk to these people who don't agree with you. So I established offices in Mamelodi. When the young people were killing old people, saying that they are witches. So I was teaching them to say, no, you can't say our people are witches unless your mother is a witch. You know about witchcraft. Yeah. So I was doing that job. The Lutheran churches that we learned about Marxism, Leninism, who are white people who were never in Africa. And they learned from Hegel. Hegel said that Africa is the land of childhood, and that there's no civilization to speak about in Africa. So I came to the conclusion that Marx, Hegel, and all those European philosophers didn't know me, didn't know Africa, and I can't make them my Jesus. And that's why I went into this investigation into who am I as an African, who are African people, where do they come from. But I was, when I was chief whip, I convinced both houses of parliament to say, let's have an interfaith committees. And it was agreed. We had a parliamentary interfaith committees, and I wanted this to be taken to the provinces, to the municipalities. But because a interfaith movement must be abolished in this parliament. And that is what happened. Because we are both in the same organization called the ANC, but another one thinks like Marx, another one thinks like Jesus. Of course, those who believe in Jesus, there are lies about Jesus. They say things about Jesus which Jesus never knew or never said. And even the Gospels that they use were written 90 years after his death. Now, how do you guarantee that the things they put there, Jesus knew about them? In 1945, there were Gospels which were discovered at Nag Hammadi in southern Egypt. Those are the Gospels which says Jesus was married to Mary Magdalene, but we must influence them. So that's why civil society is very important. That's why you need progressive intellectuals, professors. So I'm making this proposal that there must be an African Renaissance Forum. This must be institutionalized. And all progressive forces, students, workers, and then must debate there. You know, there is are less educated. There's nothing like are less educated. There's nothing like that. Let me move on and say the contestation between communism and Pan-Africanism still continues. That's why Anton Limbete, the founder of the ANC Youth League, and Mandela were anti-communists, saying that the communists, who were mostly whites, wanted to think for Africans. Mandela was only convinced by Moses Kotane to say you don't have to love communists or communism, but you need them as allies in the struggle. And that's why even today we have an allies between the communists and the Africans. But you can't say you are an advanced revolutionary because you are a communist, but you don't know who you are. Are you not surprised that in Russia, Putin knows the Bible more than the Pope? Because he's able to say who are the actors in the Bible. So read the Bible, read the Quran, but read beyond them. Steve Biko, I was happy when I talked to the leadership here that, you know, black consciousness is a very important phase in our struggle. Steve Biko said that we need a society that has a human face. He was referring to African humanism, Ubuntu. And you see, Ubuntu is deeper than just a slogan. Now you find security companies called Ubuntu Security Company, restaurant, Ubuntu restaurant, and so on. You see, the human being is not us, the physical body. Inside each one of us, you have the spirit, the soul, and the body of light. And this physical body is the container of the umuntu inside. And then inside ourselves, the umuntus inside ourselves, there is no Pedi, there is no Tsonga, there's no Venda, there's no Zulu. It's a spirit of God. So which means that tribalism, ethnicity, is a sign of under the physical body, whether you are Indian or white, when you die, the worms that eat are the same. Are the same. And sit on the right hand of God. God said. Now, how do you say you are sitting on the right hand of a person who has no right hand? Spirit has no right hand or left hand, so you can't sit on the right hand or the left hand.
Yeah.
So we need to bring the highest form of religion and philosophy is Ubuntu. You see, the Tsonga will say Wunu, the Shona say Wunu, Vavenda vari Vutu, Valoveri vari Vutu, Vatswana Vasutu vari Vutu, and then the Karanga say Hunu, the Swahili say Utu. You find that philosophy throughout Africa. Now, what other philosophy do we want? And European philosophers are individuals who have ideas. They put down the ideas, then we memorize the ideas of individuals and say we are philosophers. Philosophy is beyond Plato, Solon, Aristotle, and those people who studied in Egypt, but they did not disclose their sources. But now when you write your thesis, what are their sources? But now when you write your thesis, quote the sources. Why? When he say,
yeah,
you can withdraw the doctorate, but somebody. And Ra. The story is the following: that the woman, the Queen of Heaven, the woman, the Queen of Heaven. Now the name Ethiopia is Atape, the land of the one or the good. That's why historians say that Southern Africa is Terra, the land of the good people. And the Ethiopians are called the blameless people. And it is yourself. And the name Egypt is originally is Ha-Kapta, and then therefore Ha-Kapta, it means the land of the spirit of the one or the good that we call God. And now the Greeks come, they take Ha, they put A-E, they take Ka, they make G-Y, they take Pta, they make Ptos, it becomes Aegyptos, and the English come, they take Aegyptos, they make it Egypt. They don't know what the meaning of Egypt is. And now, today, the Arabs who conquered indigenous African people, your grandparents, and chased them out of Egypt. They say Egypt is the republic, the Arab Republic. But when they celebrate their functions here in Pretoria, they bring your forefathers' artifacts and put them and say this is the culture of Egypt, whereas it's your culture. So they don't even know the name of Ethiopia and Egypt, they are lying. Now the evolution of Darwin, who says that we descended from baboons or monkeys, is a blue lie. And I feel very sorry that under my wife as the Minister of Basic Education, they introduced baboons walking on four, standing up slowly to show that we were baboons. And then President Mbeki and Kofi Annan go to Maroping in Johannesburg to visit their ancestors, visiting baboons. It shows you that even at the highest level, our people, our leaders are confused. There's a need for education. And now, it is you as young people who must question those notebooks, because your children are going to learn that they were baboons. And if you know that you are a baboon, why should you even respect yourself? Why should I respect a baboon? So the whole thing of spirituality goes through the window. So I think that yourselves, I don't think you should have holidays. I think during holidays, you must go into the communities, organize book clubs, teach, interact with old people, and get information, because our country is getting lost because of the lies from Europe. I always say that it's better that we tell our own lies to our own children, because we can correct them. But if you import lies from Europe, how will you correct somebody's lies? So there is Ptah, which is a known and unknowable God, Ka, unknown and unknowable God. That Ptah emanated 9 principles called the Ennead or Pauti. So Ptah plus the 9 emanations makes 10. That is a decade. These are 10 principles that came out of nothingness, which means where things started, nobody knows. But at the beginning, that nothingness manifests itself as the serpent called Aurabara, Greek Orobas, in Vendavar Dombo. That's why they have Domba dance. In Karanga is Demba, which means that the serpent is the first manifestation of divine energy. So the serpent is not the devil. The devil is the creation of Europeans. That's why on that on the emblems, you see these 2 serpents. The one serpent represents the solar energy, the other one represents the lunar energy. And when they meet at the bottom of the spine, there's a coiled serpent. Now, you have to activate it. When you activate it, the lunar and solar energies go and they burst at the breast. When they burst, they open up the pituitary gland, the thalamus gland, and the pineal gland. Now the 3 glands correspond to the 3 stars of the Orion belt, which represents the spiritual father, mother, and child. Because yourself, when you sit there, you have 5 senses, which represents the 5 elements: spirit, fire, water, earth, and air, which are the building blocks of all reality. And now you have the 7 chakras here. You have the 3 glands. 7 plus 3 is 10. I said at the beginning is God plus 9 emanations make 10. So you have 10 in yourself. That's why we say you are made in the image of God. But you also have the 12 parts of the body. The 12 parts of the body corresponds with the 12 signs of the zodiac. So actually a human being is a microcosmic form of the macrocosmos. We are universes on our own. And it means that there is nothing that exists in the universe that does not exist in us. But now the reason why the Indian children, the Chinese perform better than us in schools, is not that they are superior to us. They practice yoga. The purpose of yoga is to liberate the energy at the bottom of the spine, because when it moves up, it unlocks and widens the cosmos, the cosmic consciousness. So let's not be fooled by anybody to say that there's anybody who is superior to us. Actually, even what they know came from us. So maybe we must have yoga clubs, but not the Indian yoga which teaches you to worship Indian things. We can talk about the alternative. We want the alternative. We can talk about the alternative. The other thing is chess. You see, Indian and white kids, they perform better in sciences. Not because they are more given, because science started here. You know, you may know what is called the theorem of Pythagoras. Pythagoras didn't know what that theorem meant. Even the professors, some professors don't know what it means. When it says the square on the hypotenuse is equals to the sum of the squares on the other two sides, it means that the square of the divine light, Horus, is equals to the square of Osiris, the son of the sun, plus the square of Isis, the daughter of the sun. Now the son of the sun is spirit, soul, and body of soul is 3. And then Isis is fire, water, earth, and air is 4. And then Horus is spirit plus the 4 elements is 5. Then you are able to say 3 squared plus 4 squared is equals to 5 squared. 3 squared is 9, 4 squared is 16. Then we have 25 equals to 25. The square of 25 is 5, which means that all reality is made out of the elements. But the spirit is contained by the matter. So Pythagoras did not understand that. And then Plato stole books in Egypt. When he studied, Pythagoras studied for 22 years, he completed. Plato studies for 12 years, he doesn't complete, but he takes the notebooks, go and rework them, and produce a book called the Timaeus. So you must read a book called the Timaeus of Plato and read the Plato works. You'll find that those things come from Africa. Now, Ndate Kanagman, Skukun. You know where the Greeks came into Egypt as traders, later as mercenaries, and they helped the Egyptians to fight against the Persians. And at the end, those mercenaries overthrew the Egyptians and established Greek Empire. But they had already known and appreciated the wisdom of the Egyptians. So they preserved this information, but translated it into their language. Now the Persians came and destroyed. Lastly, what happened came the Romans. Those were the real barbarians, pagans, but they call us, all of us, pagans and barbarians, but they were the real ones. Now they changed everything. They found Christianity. Christianity was called Gnostic Christianity. You can trace Christianity, I'll send you information, to the time of Pharaoh Khufu, called Cheops in Greek, who was a native Ethiopian or Nubian. And then you find it during the Egyptian New Kingdom, 1575 to 1089. And when the Libyans destroyed it, came the Ethiopians. The 25th Egyptian dynasty, they revived this. Then came the Persians who destroyed that. But the real destroyers were the Romans. The Romans made sure that the world become white. They made sure that every achievement in the world is a European achievement. They took Christianity. They had held conferences like the one you mentioned, the first one of 325. At that conference, they found that the real Christianity says there is God, the spiritual father, spiritual mother, and spiritual child. They turned it around and said they said there's God the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. So they defined women out of heaven. Because in heaven you have the Father and the Son. Which man can have a son without a mother? How is that possible? It's illogical. So then they created an illogical religion. And a religion which make our children to look down upon their mothers and their sisters. They think that they are better. Patriarchy is so patriarchy is solve a challenge. You got the budget. You must decolonize this mind. But we are afraid to address that because we think we are offending God. That thing doesn't come from God. It comes from a Roman general. I dealt with the spirit and the Kundalini Azania. This is the last thing I want to address. If we can hold a referendum tomorrow and say what should be the name of Africa, some will say Azania, some will say Mzansi, and the ANC will say South Africa. Why? Why can't we agree? Why can't we agree? Mzansi, which is now more popular, simply means south. So it's meaningless. Doesn't talk to our identity. The word Azania, the root of Azania is Zanj. Zanj, the full name of Zanj is Zanj Kafura, which means the root or trunk of the spirit of the sacred life. And that is the name of the sun. And the original Azania was Ethiopia. That's why the coast of Africa, eastern coast of Africa, is called the Azanian coast. And that's why the Indian Ocean was called Azanian Ocean. And now you are students, you allow Indians from so far to call your sea Indian Ocean. Why don't they name the Ganges there as the Indian Ocean? They come here. So part of the transformation is that we must change the names. There can't be an Indian Ocean on the coast of Africa. This ocean called Atlantic Ocean, it was called Ethiopian Ocean, which speak to us. And we allow the British to call it Atlantic Ocean. Now, what I'm trying to say, there's a map I can share with you, where Zanj was an empire north of Mozambique. Now, how do you get an empire north of Mozambique, which is Azania, and say South Africa is Azania? What is the basis? And Tambo, when I met him in Tanzania in 1987 with Nyerere, he said, we are involved in the struggle, but we shouldn't leave culture behind. He said, actually, when the right comes, South Africa must be called the Republic of Maluti or Malundi. I said, what do you mean, Comrade President? He said, the country called Burundi is also called Urundi. And if some people like the Zulus can't pronounce R, they say L. So Urundi becomes Ulundi. In Natal you have Ulundi. And then in Zimbabwe you have the river Ulundi. On the Botswana side, the Tswana say Odi. That Odi is Undi, is Luti. And then here Amanskral is Odimoriltel. and then Malotia Pufu, Free State, Maluti Mountains in the Free State, and so on. So the most common name for this country is Maluti or Maluti. Now, what is the name of Lundi? Lundi is the name of the sun. It is defined as the needle that weaves together heaven and earth. And that's why our own people, you know, when we worked level Solon Masang in Mamelodi, she called us Banabaji Kalaga. Eban, Banabaji Kalaga. If you go to most funerals, whether it's Tsonga funerals or Ndebele, or they will say Hamba Gatleng Nkalanga. And then there are Karanga people, Bakalaga, Bakalaga. The name Mukalaga simply means the children of the sun. So if we define ourselves as the children of the sun, children of light, there won't be tribalism. So why don't we use this rich culture to stop this thing? Because tribalism is retarding progress. Right now, our politics don't go well because everybody goes to his tribe and buy votes there. And when we meet, we think we belong to the same organization. People are voted by their tribes. At the end, people complain that no, this thing is dominated by vendors or dominated by Zulus. Then we start solving tribal things other than taking our country forward. As I said, I tend to talk too much. Let me stop by saying, for philosophers, my brother who said he's a philosopher, God exists. I'll give you information, share with you. But if you want to remove the Romans out of your head, you must read the books of an African philosopher, Plotinus. He lived between 2004 and 270. He wrote the books called the Enneads, which were edited by a certain prophet. That man experienced something that I experienced. He said that 3 times he walked outside his body and he could see his corpse and he could see this. So you must read the Ennead. I was in Germany. I got sick. And then when I was sick, I would wake up. You must swim every day facing upward. This thing will stabilize. Indeed, it's stabilized. And the things that I saw there, I wrote in my book in the 1983 called Introduction to Kara Philosophy. And that's why I established an institute called the Kara Heritage Institute. But I'm not saying the ideas are mine. There's this Lord Ken, Thought Hermes, who said, if you have unanswered questions, keep me in mind and meditate. I will teach you. His books are called the Corpus Hermeticum or the Hermetica. They are hidden in Britain and everywhere. The Europeans don't want us to use those books. And I want to suggest that this should be the first university that has a collection of the Hermetic books. You will see that these Greeks were not actually philosophers. They were students of philosophy.
Thank you very much for the questions and the comments. I know that we still have burning questions. I know that we still have comments, but I've been advised not to take another round due to time. Prof. Mokhotan, I know we are having lunch together. Let's engage. over lunch with that question that you have in mind. I'm just going to read a few comments and then we go to the vote of thanks. We are having people that are watching online as well. And Alan Mainecha says, I love this man. And Rapa Tamashele says, oh, a young bright mind, Paswanam Patlele. And then Alan Mainage also says, please add this view, refer to George Collins' view on religion, refer to a documentary called Zeitgeist. It supports Prof's view. You can mention my name, Alan Mainage, viewing from online. And the others are questions, but unfortunately, due to time, we might not be able to get the responses. But the questions were, Prof, based on what you shared, how are black people who were once the epitome of wisdom, innovation, and spiritual depth find themselves struggling to access basic resources? Can I please have the name and the author? Prof just mentioned Getting Re-Educated in My Room. We will make a collection of those books and then you can visit our department through the office of the HOD, and then we will definitely recommend those books that the guest speaker have been mentioning throughout his presentation. We are moving to item number 6.
And he said that I'm not packaging things well. He offered to help write things in a consumable way. So I think the university must hold him responsible and then to produce them.
Definitely. The message have been received.
No, that was before I started working here. I can't be held accountable. So what I really appreciate is that as a university, we have academics, we have researchers, scholars whose work it is to facilitate the pursuit of knowledge. The university is exactly that, the universe of knowledge. And if you have these young people here who have such perspectives on life that even I didn't know, and I interact with them a lot, then it means, professors, your work is cut out for you. Let these young minds blossom. Let them pursue these programs. Let them run projects that will allow them to dig deeper, but use scientific methods so that they like Prof. Musa is saying, they shouldn't just take what they read as gospel. So my point was, because we are in the world of TikTok and instant media, if we don't find a way of capturing the story in a way that can keep the majority of people engaged, we will never reach that critical mass of thinkers who can then aggregate into a force for change. It will remain Matole Mutsecha, the nutcase. It will remain Murorem Sukukune, the radical. People will give you these names to marginalize and isolate you so that you look abnormal and you become the problem. But if we make it the subject of our scientific pursuit as a university, then we will have a way of capturing it. Then people like myself can help you take that message in a palatable manner to the popular audience. That's what I meant.
That is well captured. That is definitely well captured. Indeed, we need this information archived. We need it shared to the broader, audience out there, so that we able to know who we are, where we come from, and definitely where we are going. We are on item 6 on the vote of thanks, and I am going to kindly request Prof. Umpeme Sibanda, the Executive Dean of Faculty of Management and Law, to come and do the official vote of thanks. Prof, over to you.
Thank you, Program Director. Umpimeti, not Umpimeti. With that said, I hope I will represent our GVC Teaching and Learning Professor R.N. Madatse quite well in rendering this vote of thanks. But then before that, allow me, since it's Women's Day, to quote, or Women's Month, but then every day is a Women's Day. to quote, the following by, the first Black African Nobel Peace Prize winner, Wangani Maathai, a Kenyan politician and environmental activist who received this particular award in 2004 and left this world to the next spiritual world in 2011, saying, and I quote, the first Black, I quote, our people have been persuaded to believe that because they are poor, they lack not only capital, but also knowledge and skills to address their challenges. Instead, they are conditioned to believe that solutions to their problems must come from outside. I close the quote. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my privilege to express our heartfelt gratitude as the University of Limpopo and to render this particular vote of thanks for making this event a success. First and foremost, in absentia, let me appreciate, acknowledge our Vice Chancellor and Principal, Professor Matlo Mokgalong, for his unwavering support, always making it possible, supporting events of this nature. As a university, our duty is to soldier on in our academic and finding solutions for the African continent or for humanity in general. We really appreciate this support and the support for all similar initiatives. And also let me thank the Executive Dean of the Faculty of Humanities, that is Professor Satsope. I wanted you to say that, Prof. I know when you say it with a smile. Professor Satsope Maoto. Prof was able to make very concise, insightful remarks, open remarks, and in making us feel at home as we begin this particular event today. Thank you to Professor S. Sitola. I heard them saying SS. Or SL. I was hoping that I was thinking of that Russian submarine. SL Sitole, Director, School of Social Sciences, for his gracious introduction to our esteemed guest lecturer. Your words, Prof, set a very good stage for this captivating session. And I'm not going to repeat what you said. I would also like to extend my sincere thanks to our distinguished guest lecturer, Professor Dr. Advocate Matole Mosecha, Executive Director of the Kara Heritage Institute and the Chairperson of the African Renaissance Forum. Prof, your insightful lecture on decolonization of African mind through the African spirituality, for me, really opened a whole new horizon, a whole new perspective. And I want to believe that ignited some form really of crusade among us, amongst those who are here, in particular the students. I was pleasantly surprised in a good way and very sort of motivated to say, I think, and I've always known that I'm at the right university, because I've had our students, starting from here, the young lady going up there, taking over your lecture. Thank you very much. I hope you continue to inspire all of us. You are grateful as a person, in person, and also your presence was grateful today. Our heartfelt gratitude goes to Dr. Lulu Makola, the head of the Department of Sociology and Anthropology, for providing, a very succinct context of today's lecture through the lens of sociology and anthropology. Your insight, Doc, has helped us to frame our discussions and deepen our understanding, even before the main lecturer, our guest of honor, was on stage. We truly appreciate that. A round of applause, and when I mean a round of applause, we need to do it. A round of applause to our Ms. Itumelen Chidi, our program facilitator, who skillfully guided us through the proceedings with grace. To the university executive management, and some of them are present here. I see Ss. Joy. Your leadership and support have been very invaluable and great. I may not be able to mention all of them, but as you know, our Vice Chancellor and Principal is also flanked by the Registrar Professor Masha, the Deputy Vice Chancellor Teaching and Learning Professor R.N. Madaje, the Deputy Vice Chancellor Research, Innovation and Partnership Professor Jessica Singh. They are all appreciated, and we thank you for allowing us to be out of our office to be here. Let me also really thank our marketing and communication team led by Mr. Victor Khomeashwana, Bravik, for their efforts in publishing this particular event, ensuring the right coverage across all the available media platforms and outlets. Your dedication in promoting the events here at the University of Limpopo can never go unnoticed. Also to all our University of Limpopo community, and by community inclusive staff members, students, attendees, that particular father and mother, sister and brother who is helping support us in terms of cleaning, in terms really of giving advice. We really appreciate your presence in this particular hall and online. Your participation, your active participation also is acknowledged. Finally, special thanks for everyone involved in organizing this particular lecture. It was really good to know that you have people like Dr. Lulu Makola and Dr. Kenneth Malachi, program coordinators, who took time making sure that now everything is organized meticulously so and into the T. And as I go towards concluding this particular vote of thanks, I'm not going to miss on this opportunity, Professor Mautu, you know me. First, by acknowledging that now a lion was mentioned, and you know what it means for me. And also to say the following, or basically to reference the following 3 passages. And I know Professor Moseha is familiar with them. He will tell you after that. Let me first start by the first one. I'll go like this as a teacher. First one, and I quote, "African spirituality is the spiritual, moral, and ethical foundation of our existence. It is through this lens that we must redefine our identity and place in the world." Closing the quote. The second one, "The decolonization of African mind is incomplete without the recognition and integration of our spiritual heritage, which is the cornerstone of African culture and identity." I'll close. The last one, "The future of Africa lies in its ability to harness its spiritual and cultural resources to forge a new path of self-determination and progress." Close the quote. Thank you once more again for joining us today. I thank you. I was tasked to do the last one, to give goodies. Yeah, I'm told that there are 2 goodies for me, and one for me, one for you, for our guest lecturer. Can we have them? And I'm going to humbly request first a prof to come to this particular place. You receive this particular, because it's less than 200 range. And then after that, we'll take a picture, and then you'll do whatever you want to do, program. Where is the picture? You'll take a good one, eh? That's good. Really? Oh, okay.
Thank you very much, Professor Sibanda, for doing such diligence with the vote of thanks. We appreciate you so much. Management and law always supports our faculty so much. We really appreciate your presence in that regard. Right now, I'm going to ask the Executive Dean, the Director, our guest speaker, HOD, please kindly usher them. You know where you are taking them to. Kindly usher them. You know where you are taking them to. We all remain seated. We all remain seated as they are going to be ushered to where they are supposed to be going from here. And the rest of us, we can remain seated. Okay. They're asking for a group photo first. Mr. Photographer, Marketing and Communications, please kindly take them a picture.
Amen.